Okay, Rabotai. Welcome to our Wednesday night shiur. Today is the 22nd of Tammuz. Just a reminder, tomorrow night means it's going to be Thursday night. It's going to be the Hilulah of the Ramak, of Moshe Cordovero. We all know him for his famous book, Tomar Devorah, the date tree of Devorah.
They have it in Russian.
They even have it in Russian. And Rav Chaim Mitzanz, who was a very big tzaddik, he wrote the Shut Divrei Chaim. He was a very big posek. He was also a Hasidic leader, a Rebbe. And he was also very famous for the Psak Halacha that a man is not allowed to use a mirror to fix his tefillin. Because he held that looking inside a mirror constituted as a woman's thing. And a man should not look at himself in the mirror. It's a bad thing. And he said that whoever learns Tomar Devorah once a month will not get the disease known as cancer.
Wow.
So for that reason, many people try to finish Tomar Devorah once a month. He was known for saying that. So tomorrow night is his Hilulah, and we know we have our Shar Gilgulim Shir that night.
Ooh.
So maybe we'll do a little something, because there's 3 Hilulahs many Mekubalim they celebrate. Or Chaim HaKadosh, which we did last week, we celebrated it. They do the Ramak and they do Rav Chaim Vital. Those are like the 3 big Hilulot. All 3 were giants in Torah. Of course, the Ramak was the rabbi before the Ari HaKadosh.
But they don't do Ari?
The Ari is 2 days before Tisha B'Av. 2-3 days before the Tisha B'Av, and you can't eat meat, drink wine, so we refrain from making his Hilulah. So tomorrow night is a very big night. Tonight is also a big night. We are in Ben HaMetzarim, and Bezrat Hashem tonight, which is the 7th night of the passing of my grandmother Tzipora Bat Adina, Ruach Hashem Tenicheh Began Eden, we're going to say a small chidush. It's not a chidush, but I want you guys to use this kavanah every day for the next 3 weeks. I mean, by this point, it's probably going to be like 2 weeks and a half. But for the next 2 weeks and a half, I'm going to teach you a kavanah that you could use, shacharit, mincha, and aravit, to change your tzarot. Tzara means your suffering, into ritzeh. You know what ritzeh means? To be wanted by Hashem. Because to want, to be wanted, and suffering is the same word in Hebrew. Just the letters are put in different orders. Tzara is tzadik reish hey. Ritzeh is reish tzadik hey.
Mirror.
So exactly, and in Hebrew, we know Judaism, we don't call our language Ivrit. Who calls our language Ivrit? Eliezer ben Yehuda, not your boss, but Eliezer ben Yehuda, one of the first Tzionim. He came to Israel, he penned a new language. He called it Ivrit. Hebrew. We're not Hebrews. Hebrew was our great-grandfather, Avraham Avinu. He came from across the river. He was a Hebrew. We're not Hebrews. We're Bnei Israel. We have a tongue. What's our tongue? Lashon HaKodesh. Our language is Lashon HaKodesh. In Judaism, every word has a meaning. You know? If you're going to ask an American guy, how come you guys call a chair a chair? You think he's going to know? He has no idea. The Navi Ovadia says that God called Edom, the land of Edom, Bazui. You know what Bazui means? It's a degraded nation. America, Rome, is a degraded nation. Why? They don't have a king, a son of a king, Rashi says. They never used to have a king, and then his son would be a king. It would never be such a thing like that. They would vote for a new king. Many times, they would bring a king from a different country. And the second reason, they don't have their own language. They stole their language from other nations. For example, if you take the American language, it's really a mix of Latin, it's Latin, Russian, Spanish, Italian. For example, even Aramaic is in the American language. How do you say question? And how do you say a question in Aramaic? Kushia, kushia, question. Same exact thing. You understand? So there's a lot of similar words. In Russian, forget about it. Latin, forget about it. Italian, it's very similar. So the land of Edom, and it's very interesting, tonight is July 4th. So we have to say a little something, machnia the klipa. The Baal Shem Tov used to say, there's a couple of days of the year a man should refrain from having conjugal relations with his wife. A couple of days of the year. Number 1, he said a person should refrain from being with his wife This is extra from what the Chachamim said. Extra. On the first night of Passover. First night of Passover, a person should refrain from being with his wife unless it's her mikvah night. Second night is Shmini Atzeret. The last day of Sukkot. One should refrain from being with his wife unless it's her mikvah night. And the third night is Shavuot. One should refrain from being with his wife unless it's her mikvah. Huh?
Is it connected to drinking? Like
It's no. There's spiritual reasons. Spiritual reasons. Because that night the worlds are colliding, and it's not nice that you're going to do the same exact thing when the worlds are doing it. Understand? Now, those 3 nights are very special. Now, the Baal Shem Tov says there's a 4th night one should refrain from being with his wife. That's December 25th. Do you guys know what night that is?
Mm-hmm.
That's the night where the Goyim pick a tree. I don't know why they picked that tree and how they picked that tree. And they hang red and green balls over it and they sing some merry songs. Of course, the songs that come from Gehenom. There's Mamash Gehenom opened up and they heard what they were singing over there and they made a song out of it. The Baal Shem Tov, this is a Mamash Baal Shem Tov. Even though that guy, Yoshka, he didn't really was born that day. He was really born somewhere in the summer. But since they pegged that day as his day, the Baal Shem Tov says most people who convert from Judaism to Kritmachism, they were conceived on December 25th. How is that for a Hidush? It's a Baal Shem Tov. But only the Baal Shem Tov could say such a thing. If somebody would ask me, can I be with my wife on December 25th? I wouldn't dare say no. Only the Baal Shem Tov could say such a thing. Okay? Now, going back to what we were speaking before, these days of Ben HaMitzarim are very special days. Why? 3 weeks. Of course, this for Sfaradim, it's more lenient. We don't like to mourn so much. You know, Ashkenaz Sfaradim, after we bury our dead, there is the meal right after we bury our dead. The Avel is not allowed to eat from his own food. You have to feed him. It's called Suudat Havra'a. If you ever look at the Sfaradi one and Ashkenazi one, you're going to see a big difference. Sfaradi one, they put vodka for everybody. They give alcohol to everybody to drink. Ashkenazim, they give an egg. What's the difference? We want to forget our sorrows. They want to remember their sorrows. So for us, the 3 weeks is not such a big deal. I mean, for the stuff we do, for Ashkenazim it is. Now I want to teach you guys a kavanah that could change your tzarot into ritzet. But I'm not going to say it right now because then you're going to close the video. I want you to watch till the end. Whoever is watching it. I want to talk about something else today. And the reason I'm going to talk about this is because it was said by a very big tzaddik who was born and passed away on the same day. And it's not Moshe Rabbeinu. The Torah says, the Gemara says, how do you know a person is a tzaddik? If he lived around life. What does around life mean? He was born on the same day, and he passed away. Who do we know who did that? Moshe, David. There's one other rabbi that I know that was born on the same day and passed away on the same day. I don't know any other rabbi. His name was Rav Dov Ber of Lubavitch. He was the second Chabad Rebbe. Nobody ever heard of him. I heard of him. So I'm telling you about him. He was born on the 9th of Kislev and he died on the 9th of Kislev. He was a very big tzaddik. And he said that suffering is a very important part of a human being's life. Why? He said there's no such thing a person suffers forever. Nobody suffers forever. Why? God created this world so we could enjoy. Somebody texted me the other day. I think it was 3 days ago. I usually delete my texts right away, so I don't know exactly when. So he texted me. He said, Rabbi, I was in a shiur, and the rabbi said that this world you have to not enjoy anything. Don't go on vacations. Don't go on trips. If a person really want to reach the true spirituality, a person has to refrain from all bodily pleasures. Because, Rabbi, what do you think of this? I said, I'll tell you the truth. I think this rabbi has issues. Are you a king? No. Is your father a king? Yes. What does that make you? The son of a king. Did you ever see a prince dressed like a pauper? Did you ever see a prince that lives in a one-bedroom apartment? Did you ever see look at the Goyim, look at Britain. Prince William. Lachshov that they're something. Lachshov. Lahavdil elef havdalot. To think that they're mamash kings. The Goyim say we are kings. They were endowed. If you ever learn history, they were endowed by God. God chose them to be kings. Who chose you? You chose yourself. But still, we're not allowed to curse them. Shlomo HaMelech says you're not allowed to curse a king. Rav Salman Mutzafi, the father of Ben Zion Mutzafi, he was a very big tzaddik, one of the Lamed Vav tzaddikim, for sure. He was such a tzaddik, he never took a penny from anybody in his life. To make money, he used to work as a shamash. In the 1960s, 1950s, most of us were not born. None of us were born probably over here. The Arab countries were fighting against Israel. Every other day there was a war. Every other day on the news, people were coming. This Rav Salman Mutzafi, there is something called cherem hakolbo. Don't try it and don't look for it. What is that? You get 10 men. 10 men. You open up Sefer Torah, the Hechal. You take 10 shofars. And you read a certain paragraph. Not paragraph, it's like 2 pages over there. And you say, Arur Ha'ish. And everybody says, Arur Ha'ish, cursed is this man. You say his name. Let's say Barack Obama ben Hussein Obama. And you say, Arur Bayom, you should be cursed in the day. And everybody says, Arur Bayom. You say, Arur Balayla, you should be cursed in the night. And then they blow 10 shofars together. 10. Everyone together has to blow. Then they start and they go again. May he be cursed in the afternoon. May he be cursed in his work. Maybe. And they do like this for like 30 minutes. They curse that guy. It's called cherem hakolbo. Rav Salman Mutzafi used to do this when all the Arab countries used to gather against Israel. Suddenly you hear, the next day, this guy is dead. This guy is dead. This guy is dead. Everybody's dropping dead like every other month. If you look at the history, the Arab country used to change generals. But Rav Salman Mutzafi used to say he would never curse the king. Back then, you know, the king of Jordan, his father was very against the Jews. He would never curse him. He would never do cherem hakolbo against him. Why? Shlomo HaMelech says you can't curse a king. When you see a king, king of Morocco, king of Spain, king of Britain, you have to make a blessing. Baruch shechalak mikvodo lebasar vadam. Blessed is Hashem that gave his kavod to a king of flesh and blood. That means every time you see a king, you should know one thing. You cannot curse him, you have to respect him because the Shekhinah, a spark of the Shekhinah is inside of him. That's called Galut HaShekhinah. This is the true meaning of the Galut HaShekhinah. That's why, for example, this week's parasha, we talk about Pinchas, and in the Haftarah, what are we going to read about? Eliyahu HaNavi. Eliyahu HaNavi would never go against Achav. He would never curse Achav. Why? Achav was a king. You can't curse a king. He was a Rasha. He took Hashem's name and he ripped it out of the Sefer Torah. Could you imagine? He would never curse. He's a king. Can't curse a king. Why? Because a king has malchut inside him. He has a spark of the Shekhinah inside him. And who gives him that power? When the Jews live outside of Israel, we give the kings, we give the leaders outside of Israel the power to rule over the world. The power to rule over the world.
Even Goyim.
Even Goyim. Right now, why is America the greatest nation in the world? Because after Israel, where do most of the Jews live? In America. You understand the difference? Do you understand? How come the Arab countries don't mean anything in the world? They don't produce anything. All the Jews left. Europe is dead. Why? All the Jews left. When the Jews are in a country, we bring the Shekhinah with us. Now, in this week's parasha, we say, when Pinchas took the spear and Hashem made him, how many miracles? There's a machloket.
5.
The Chidah says 6. Yonatan ben Uziel says 12. 12 miracles happened to him. How do we know? If you look at the Sefer Torah, if you read the parasha, if you ever look, you should look this week. It says, Hineni, behold, I give him the brit shalom. The word shalom is over there. If you see the vav, it's split in half. It's split in half. There's like a cut in the middle. You think it's pasul. When I was very long time ago, I was reading a Sefer Torah. I'm like, Dad, Abba, this is pasul. We called up our rabbi. He said, no, that's the way it's supposed to be. We were about to add ink over there. Mamash, it's cut in half. Why? The top is 1 vav. How much is vav? 6. The bottom is another vav. How much is that? 6. 6 plus 6 is how much? 12. How many miracles God made Pinchas? 12 miracles. Yonatan ben Uziel says. Another thing, how come the vav is split in half? The vav symbolizes life. The letter vav that's why in almost all of our names, what will you find? The letter vav. What's the letter that's most written in the Torah? The letter vav. Vav, it's not only a letter, it's also a vowel. So it works as 2. How did Pinchas get shalom? How did he get kahuna? What did he have to do to get it? He had to kill. So therefore the letter vav, which symbolizes life, is cut in half. That's why also Eliyahu had to come back Pinchas had to come back in a Gilgul as who? Eliyahu Hanavi. People think that Pinchas lived a very long life. He lived till he went up Bisara B'Shamayma. This Shabbat, B'ezrat Hashem, we're going to explain how was Pinchas really Eliyahu. It's not what you guys think. The Ari HaKadosh explains it in Shara Gilgulim. We're not going to get into it right now. It's a very, very deep concept. So Pinchas kills Zimri, which was a Nasi. A Nasi is like a king. And they told about him, Haraitim ben Puti zeh. What does that mean, ben Puti? His father, Pinchas' father, was who? Elazar, son of Aaron HaKohen. But his mother was who? The daughter of Yitro. That means Pinchas was the nephew of Moshe, but also the nephew of Tzipporah, his wife. So he was a nephew to Moshe on both sides, from his wife's side and from his father's side. Right. Because Moshe's wife was the aunt of who?
Of his wife.
Of Pinchas's mother. Of Pinchas. And Pinchas' mother was Moshe's sister-in-law. Okay? Because Elazar married Moshe's sister-in-law.
Right.
Tzipporah's sister. Tzipporah had 7 sisters. What did Pinchas do to get kihuna? The Zohar HaKadosh says he did something that nobody else did in the history of the world. He changed his status. Could you imagine, Daniel, you became from Israel to a Kohen? Is such a thing possible?
He was a Levi.
He was a Levi. Levi is almost like a Yisrael. How do you change status? How do you change genealogy? He wasn't supposed to be a Kohen. He jumped. How did you do that? How did he do that?
By being zealous. Fighting for God.
Do we fight for God?
Sometimes. Not like
the
that.
The Shara Gilgulim says, we all think we're small neshamot. But if we were been born at the time of Tanaim, everybody inside this room, you know what we would be? We would be Roshei Yeshivot. Our names would be written inside the Gemara. We're all small neshamot right now, in our generation. But the fight that we have, even Tanaim wouldn't be able to stand in our shoes. Even Tanaim. You know what kind of fight we have? You step outside today, 4th of July, you would think nobody's outside. Just no more outside. Somebody put a text and a status, his WhatsApp status. I'm doing chuva. Why? Now that I know what heat is, I don't want to go to hell. It's so hot outside. You can't live. And everybody's out there. You know tonight, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai left the cave. He just saw somebody working. All he did was work. Is it a sin to work? He looks at it, you're not learning Torah, he burns him up. What would he do? He was in our generation, burned the whole world up. So that's not the way it goes. The Ari told Rav Chaim Vital, if you would have been born in the time of the Nevi'im, in the Nevi'im's time, your soul would be a chidush. You know what a chidush is? A novelty. It would be something new. It would be something new. You hear that? Could you imagine the ability of your neshama? The ability. Why? They didn't have our tests. You think they had to pay for yeshiva? You think they had to pay for rent? They used to get married the next day for 12 years and they would tell their wife Salaman. They would go learn in yeshiva for 12 years. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai once told his friend Rabbi Chanina Bechachinai, wait for me, my Sheva Brachot is going to be finished, I'm going to go with you. He said, no, I'm not waiting for you. You could be with your Sheva Brachot, I'm going to the yeshiva. He disappeared for 6 years. There was no telegram, no today. I bought myself a small notebook. I want to see, mamash, how much Torah I learn a day. And I write down from 12, this is that. Between all the phone calls and the text, do you know how much Torah I get in? Almost nothing. They had no text messages, no cell phones, no television, none of these tests. That's how they became giants. That's how they became giants. If they were in our generation, I'm not so sure they would be giants. But if we would be in their generation, for sure. If all of us are Shomer Torah and Mitzvot, I'll tell you one thing, we would be Tanaim, Amoraim, Geonim, and Rishonim. But of course, we got to work on our Midot. Eliyahu Hanavi is a very big tzaddik. In fact, the Ariya Kadosh says, who was Moshe's interpreter when he came to Pharaoh, when he spoke to the Jews? Aaron. Moshe. Why? When Moshe Rabbeinu was going to come, when he's the Mashiach, Ad Ki Yavo Shilo, we're not going to understand him. His speech is going to be a little bit weird. He'll have a lisp and he'll stutter. He won't make sense. But this time Aharon is not going to be his interpreter. Who's going to be his interpreter? Eliyahu. Eliyahu is Pinchas, his nephew. Pinchas will be his interpreter. And our Geula, our redemption is very connected to Eliyahu Hanavi, very connected. The last sentence in the prophets, the last sentence is Hareini sholech lachem et Eliyahu Hanavi. Behold, I'm sending you who? Eliyahu Hanavi. Before the great day comes, the great day of judgment, whatever that means. Eliyahu Hanavi was once asked. The Gemara says in Masechet Ta'anit, we know Eliyahu Hanavi comes to all the breeds, right? Eliyahu Hanavi made a kitrug to Am Yisrael. What was his kitrug? They said, he told Hashem, they left your brit. So Hashem said, oh yeah, they left your brit. Punishment, what's your punishment?
You report.
You gotta go and report every single brit. So some guy asked Aaron, what's the question? How is that a punishment? What do we do in a brit? Especially if you go to Ashkenazi brit, I understand why it's a punishment. There's no food there's nothing. Everybody's like a soldat over there, you know. One person is singing, okay, I understand. If you go to Yeshiva Brit, it's a punishment. If you go to Sfaradi Brit, everybody's in, you know, they're all excited. 20 people want to look at how the Mohel is doing it. The Mohel is getting nervous. It's his 300th Brit. He's still nervous. Why? So many eyes on him. Everybody's fighting who's going to be Santa. Everybody's wondering what's going to be the name, you know. There's a big sigula. If you go to a Brit and they name the same name as you, it's like you were reborn that day. Just like that kid was born that day, so too you were reborn that day. Let's say you go to a Brit and they say, Daniel, and you're there. That means what? Your neshama gets a huge surge in Shammai. So your masha goes through like a easy pass. Wow. You understand? So you gotta go to a place with two names, son. So you have it hard.
What's your name? That's a good question.
So what's the punishment that Eliyahu Hanavi has by going to the Brit? Is that a punishment? What do you think, guys? A punishment? It's not a punishment. He goes. By the way, Eliyahu Hanavi comes to a Brit. Doesn't come as an angel. He comes as Basar Vadam. You know what Basar Vadam is? He comes as a human. He goes, he enjoys. He can't leave the Suda, by the way. Why? When you go to a Brit, you must partake in the Sudat Mitzvah. You must.
But you have to sit on the chair then.
He has to sit, he has to eat. He has to eat. No, that's just the kisei of Eliyahu Hanavi. He doesn't have to sit over there. If he's going to sit over there, we're all going to know who he is. What are you going to ask him? When you call him with Mashiach? You cannot do that. You can't let it. One time you tried to say when Mashiach is coming, they whipped him with fiery lashes up there. It's like Gemara. How is it a punishment? It's a punishment. Why? The Zohar says, every time Eliyahu goes to a Brit, that day Hashem decides to give a shiur in Shamayim. So Eliyahu misses all the chidushim in Shamayim. He has to hear the chidushim from the Malach Memtet. It's a big punishment. It's a very big punishment. So he misses all the chidushim. Why? Every day and every second of the world is what? There is a Brit. When does Eliyahu learn Torah?
Never.
He barely learns Torah.
In transit.
He's in transit. How do we know? Also from the Zohar and Idra Rabbah. There's a Zohar. The most famous Zohar is called Idra Rabbah. That's where the Ariya Kadosh explains the partsufim of Arich and Zun. It's one of the most, one of the most important Zohars. It's about 50 pages, and he explains secret after secret after secret after secret. At the end over there, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says that on top of us right now there's a canopy, a spiritual canopy, and all the nishamot, all the Adam HaRishon is there. Who else? All the Malachim are there. Then Eliyahu Hanavi comes at the end. All the way at the end he comes. And Rabbi Shimon asks him, how come you weren't there with us? So Rabbi Shimon says, I had no, Eliyahu Hanavi says to Rabbi Shimon, I had no choice, I couldn't show up. Why? God sent me to make a miracle for somebody. So I was stuck doing the miracle. Do me a favor. Could you repeat some of the secrets that you said? So he misses a lot of Torah, a lot. He has to hear them secondhand. Why? Because he made a kitruk for Am Yisrael. What's a kitruk? He prosecuted against us. What did he say? One sentence. Azvu et beriti. Azvu et beritecha. They left your breed. That's why all the people who give lectures today, they have to be very careful. When you give lectures, when you give musar, very careful how you word it. If Eliyahu Hanavi was caught on 3 sentences, how much could we be caught on? How much could we? And Eliyahu Hanavi was a malach. You know what a malach is? An angel. How do we know he was an angel? He says, Chai ani ne'um Hashem. I swear in the name of God. Ka'asher amadati lefanav. Just like I stood before him. So the Mefarshim, when did he stand before him? He's a prophet. He was born. When was he standing in front of Hashem? The Ari Kadosh explains, before every soul is born to the world, if he's a very high-level soul, first Hashem, because when a soul is born, it starts in Malchut Atzilut. The Malchut of the world of Atzilut. It goes down a bit to the world of Bria. That's called Kisei HaKavod. From there, it goes straight to Asiyah. Sometimes Hashem says, I really like this soul. I don't want it to go down to the world. I want him to stop in the world of Yitzirah. A world of Yitzirah is the world of the angels. And what does he do? What does he do over there? He acts as an angel. Eliyahu Hanavi was an angel for Hashem for years. Hashem didn't want to let his soul down. He loved him so much. Why did he love him so much? When God decided to create the world, he brought all the angels together. All the angels he brought. Everybody he brought. He said, should I create man? All the angels said no. There was only one angel who said yes. Eliyahu Hanavi. Eliyahu Hanavi said, you should create human. You should create man. All the other angels said, you shouldn't create man. What did Hashem do? Huh? Who says Malach Memted is not really Eliyahu? It's very, very deep. Let's not get into it. Eliyahu Hanavi says, create man. So one person asked, I thought angels don't have free will. How did he have free will? If an angel doesn't have free will, how could he say yes or no? The second God asks you a question, what does that mean? He just endowed you with free will. He just made you have free will. That's how the free will came from. There's a very famous story I want to say with Eliyahu Hanavi.
What was his reason for saying yes?
It's a very good question. I have a chidush I want to say about that. But it's going to have to wait for Shabbat, because I can't spill all the beans on Eliyahu Hanavi tonight. It's impossible. Because I got to tell you the Chidush of Ben HaMitzarim at the end of the shiur. I want to tell you guys a story first. Eliyahu Hanavi made a mistake when he was Pinchas. He killed Zimri. It wasn't a mistake. But he got shalom, peace, by killing. Hashem doesn't like that. That's why he cut the vav in his name. He cut it. And we know the word shalom is very important to God. Why? Shalom, how much is Shin, Lamed, Vav, Mem? 376. There's only one other word in the Torah that has the numerical value of 376, and that's our brother, our cousin, Esav. Esav HaRasha is 376. Eliyahu Hanavi, his zeal, his zealousness, is very important to kill Esav. Without him, we can't kill Esav. It says Moshe Rabbeinu had inside of him all the nishamot of the world. All 600,000 Jews were inside it. It's wrong. The Ari says only the ones that come from Chesed. All the ones who come from Givura are in who? Eliyahu Hanavi, which is Pinchas. The Gemara says there's a story. Rav Kahana was walking in the market. Back then, it wasn't just bazaar on, I don't know where bazaars are today, Austin Street, this, that, once a week. Back then, you want to buy something, it's only in the bazaar. Shuk. Shuk Aravi, Shuk Machne Yehuda. You go to the bazaar, and you find very weird people over there. And who does Rav Kahana see in the shuk? Out of all people, who does he see? Eliyahu in the shuk, in a market, where you buy fruits, vegetables.
Flea market.
The flea market.
Well, not flea, but market.
He says, "Oi, oi, Elisha, Eliyahu, come over here." He was friends with him, Rav Kahana. Every other day he would see him. He had spiritual eyes. He says, "Could you come here for a second?" He says, yes. He says, "I was wondering today when I was praying Shacharit a question." What? Who's over here Ben Olam Haba? We all say in the Tefillah, Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek la'olam haba. Chelek la'olam haba is the smallest level of Olam Haba. It's like, how you say, it's, you know, last night we heard some thunder. It was like for a minute, it was like thunder outside. That's what it means, Chelek la'olam haba. It's a strike of lightning. Higher than that is Ben Olam Haba. So Rav Kahana said, I want to know, not about Chelek Olam Haba. Kol Yisrael yesh lahem Chelek Olam Haba. I want to know who's Ben Olam Haba.
Is this tiny?
Yeah. So Eliyahu says, come, I'll show you. Okay, you see those two friends, those two brothers on the side over there? Those guys are Ben Olam Haba. Rav Kahana looks at them. They're wearing jeans, ripped jeans, no beards. They dress like they came out of a club just now. Like a clowns. He turns to ask Eliyahu Hanavi. Eliyahu Hanavi disappears. Vanishes in thin air. So he goes to the guys. He says, what do you guys do all day? He says, you know what we do? We started the kosher clown. You guys know the kosher clown? We started that. When we see two people have a fight, we always make shalom between them. Peace. When we see somebody is depressed, we go to that guy and we try to, there was no Xanax back then. So he said, we try to make them happy. There was no antidepressants. He says, when we want to make something, when we see somebody who wants to get married, we go find them a shidduch. Basically, we like to make people happy. Rav Kahana says, now I understand why you guys are Ben Olam Haba. Why they Ben Olam Haba? You know why? When a person does something against what Pinchas did to get shalom, Hashem sends Eliyahu Hanavi to see what he's doing it. He tells Eliyahu Hanavi, come here. You got shalom by killing somebody. I want to show you how to really get shalom. And he sends Eliyahu to see what the guy is doing. And if he truly is a man of peace, a man who doesn't like to do janganozi, a person who's ma'avir al midotav, he blesses him with shalom. And when you bless a person with shalom, you're basically saying that he's Ben Olam Haba. And if you're Ben Olam Haba, you don't have a small part of Olam Haba. You're not Chelek. You know what you have? A huge chunk of Olam Haba. I want to tell you guys one more story about Eliyahu Hanavi. The Gemara says, this is a very fascinating Gemara. It's Shabbat Nun Vav, Shabbat 56b. Amar Rav says, Ein lacha gadol bebalei chuva. If I want to know who's the biggest Baal Tshuva in the world that ever existed, Yoter miyashiyahu bedoro. The king Yoshiyahu was the greatest Baal Tshuva in his generation.
The one that died?
The one that died by the Egyptian king, Pharaoh Necho. Ve'echad bedoreinu, and Rav said in our generation, who's the biggest Baal Tshuva? Abba, his name is Abba. He's the father of Rav Yirmiyah. And some say no, it's his brother, Acha. Amar Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef was the student of Rav. There is one more guy in our generation, he's the biggest Baal Tshuva. What's his name? Ukvan bar Nehemiah. Ukvan, the son of Nehemiah. Reish Galuta, he's the head of all the Jews. He's a descendant of David HaMelech. And some people call him Natan de Tzutzita. Natan de Tzutzita. What does that mean, Natan de Tzutzita? Rashi says that an angel, and the Mekubalim explains it was Eliyahu Navi, took him by his tzitzit of his head. What's the tzitzit of your head? Your peot. Kukul, as the Bukhari say. And he grabbed him from the klipa, what he was doing, and took him into the Kedusha. And some people say tzutzita comes from the word nitzotz. What does the word nitzotz mean?
Spark.
A spark. He had fiery sparks shooting out of his head. Like candles. And the Gemara stops. We don't know anything more about this guy, Natan de Tzutzita. I mean, he's a big guy. He's the biggest Baal Tshuva. I want to be a Baal Tshuva. How is this guy a Baal Tshuva? There is a book called Seder Hadorot, the Chronicles of Generations. Over there it says the story of Natan de Tzutzita. And it says like this. This Natan, he was the head of all the Jews in Baal. He was the son of King David. And he was very rich. How did he make his richness? How did he get rich? He had a very, very interesting job. I don't want to say it on air. He used to sell people for a night, let's call it. Starts with the letter P and ends with the letter P. Let's not get into it. Guess what's his job? In Hebrew we call it ro'eh zonot. He had a certain house. He used to buy the best kind of, and he used to make a lot of money, the Seder Hadorot says. But he never used to get married. He never got married. Why? He was in love with his neighbor's wife. Her name was Chana. Chana is a very dangerous name.
Dangerous.
Yeah. Why? Has the numerical value of 63. If anybody knows a little bit of Kabbalah, 63 is the world of Binah. The world of Binah, it's also called Eretz Edom, the land of Edom. Why? Edom is red. Binah is the mother of judgment. It's a very dangerous name. The Gemara has a lot of stories with women named Chana. A lot of stories. So her name was Chana. She was extremely Binah. For a guy who has a house full of, I don't want to say, to be beautiful, you have to be extremely beautiful to catch his eye. And every day he used to send her messengers. Come, cheat on your husband. I'm going to make you a trillionaire, a billionaire. You're going to be the wife of the Reish Galuta. And every day she was a tzaddiket. She used to say, no, I don't want to see your face. Her husband was a gambler. He used to play, I say in Russian, kardi? Yeah. He was playing cards, and he got so in debt that he lost his house, he lost his money, he lost everything. Furniture, they had to put him in jail already. He had no mashkon, what's it, mashkon? No guarantee already. Put him in jail. He's in jail with all the, how you say, shovavnikim, all the banzitim, and they're doing to him shtuyot over there. And his wife comes to visit him every day, and every time she comes to the jail, you know, all the banzitim over there see a beautiful woman. Oh, we're gonna get out of the jail. It's how the story's written. It said, oh, we're gonna do this to your wife. He gets so depressed in the jail, he tells his wife, do me a favor, go to our neighbor, you know, the guy who's in love with you, Natan, ask him for a loan. She's like, are you stupid? I'm going to step one foot inside this guy's house, he's never going to let me come out. She says, oh, you don't love me, you want me to die over here? After I die, you're going to marry him, you're going to be a trillionaire. She says, no, I promise, I'm a tzaddiket. She said, no, you're lying to me. If you're not going to do this favor for me, I know you're not in love with me. You're in love with Natan. Natan Roezonot. She says, no. She says, yes, no, yes. She leaves. She doesn't want to come visit her husband anymore on Rikers Island. She doesn't come back after a week. She feels bad. It's her husband, father of her children, no? She goes visit him. He's over there, didn't eat for a couple of days. He went from 250 pounds to 140 pounds. He's already loy. He doesn't want to live anymore. He doesn't want to be in jail. Back then, jail was not like today jail, with 3 meals a day in a library. Back then, jail was a dungeon with rats. And the food that they used to give, the guards used to go used to defecate inside the food. You took your English regions, no? So she comes to him and says, you know what, my dear husband, I see what's happening to you. I'm going to go to Natan. This guy, how you say, his brain already, he lost it. Shariki. Exactly. She said, oh, you want to go to Natan? You want to get the money from him because you want to be with him? You're lying to me. Basically, this way. She doesn't want to listen. She's really mental. Her husband became mental. She said, before I'm going to lose my husband, I'm going to have to go do this. She went home. She fasted. She praised Hashem. You know I'm a tzaddik. I'm not going in there to do any averot. Just to save Pidyon Shivuyim. You could sell Sefer Torah. She goes to Natan's house. From the window, the servants see her. How did they know who she was? You know the famous Gemara? There was a guy who was very sick. And the doctor said to the Chachamim, could he at least speak to her over the wall? He said, no. Could he at least look at her? No. He's going to die. Let him die. That was Latan de Tzutzita. That was him. Same guy. Oh, wow. He was so in love with her that he just wanted to look at her. It was mentally, he was crazy. He himself got sick. The servants see her from the, So they said to Natan, know who's coming? He's on the bed. Who's coming? Chana is coming. Which Chana? He already gets up like a lion. No more sick. So he says Chana, if your guys are telling me the truth, all you guys are going free today. He was crazy. Suddenly the maid came inside. Chana wants to have a meeting with you. If you're saying the truth, not only are you going free, I'm paying for all your bills. It's on me. All you guys for free. Make a party. Make a celebration. He thinks that she's coming finally to... She comes inside. He says, everybody leave the room. Like Amnun did to Tamar. Ooh. He was ready basically to do the worst avera. But not like it was a tzaddik. She comes inside. She's beautiful, radiant. She says to him, before anything, I'm going to ask you for a favor. Anything. My husband's in jail. I need a loan. 10,000 dinarei zahav. For you, 10,000? Take 10,000 not as a loan. Take it on me, on the house. She takes the money. He grabs her hand. He says, not that easy. You're going to be here for the night. She looks at him. Back then, there was a hierarchy. There was no 911. She couldn't call the police. Even if she did, he was the Reish Galuta. He was like the Nasi. He said, Natan, let me tell you something. You're right. I cannot do anything against you right now. If you want, you could have me. But let me tell you something right now. If you're going to say no, you're going to be the biggest Baal Tshuva that ever existed. You could get your Olam Haba in 1 minute. You know how many Averot she told him you have? You have a house that sells people. You make money off of Arayot. But if you're going to say no to me with this Yetzer Hara, I promise you're going to get your Olam Haba right now. Her words went inside of him like a poison. It ripped through his heart. He's holding her, he doesn't know what to do. On one hand, Kaifuim. On the other hand, she's right. I can get all my Olam back. Give me the biggest Baal Tshuva. Rav Yosef said he was the biggest Baal Tshuva. He had the biggest test that ever existed since the time of who?
No.
Amnun and Tamar. But Amnun fell. And he let go of her hand. This bitch Oreki Chana went home, bailed her husband out. Her husband said, I don't believe you. It's impossible he would have let you out. He did something with you. You're Esh and Ish. You're Boel, Esh and Ish. He wanted to divorce his wife. 2 weeks later, month later, this bitch Oreki Natan He's riding on a horse. Who sees him out of the window? Rabbi Akiva. And he says to his student, do you see what's going on top of this guy's head? There's fireworks. So we don't see anything. He's coldest guy inside. Reish Galuta comes and says, Natan, he said, what did you do? Only one person in a generation has this on top of his head. What did you do, Natan? And he told him the story. He said, you're going to sit next to me. You're going to learn Torah from me. And he learned Torah till he became the greatest student of Rabbi Akiva. He was standing right next to him. He was sitting right next to him. One day, the Chana's husband, who already separated from her, comes inside to ask Rabbi Akiva a question. Who does he see sitting next to Rabbi Akiva? Natan. He says, what is this royal zonot sitting next to Rabbi Akiva? You know who this guy is? Rabbi Akiva said, shame on you. He's a tzaddik yesod olam. When the guy heard that, he almost fainted. He caused his wife distress. He spread bad rumors against him. He went home and he made shalom bayit with his wife. That's the story of the greatest Baal Tshuva that ever existed, Natan the Tzitzit. And there was another story of a Baal Tshuva called Rabbi Meir Baal Hanes. Nobody knows this story. I'm telling it to you right now. It's written in the book Seder Hadorot. Rabbi Meir used to go to Yerushalayim 3 times a year, even when there was no Beit HaMikdash. And every time he used to go to Yerushalayim, he used to stay in the house of Rabbi Yehuda ben Tabach. He was a... not a shochet, he was a butcher. How do you say butcher? Chaso. And every time Rabbi Meir would go to his house, his wife used to make a table for him. But this guy, Rabbi Yehuda ben Tabach, his wife dies. He got remarried to a very young woman. He was very rich. Because butchers, kesef, basar. Rabbi Meir comes to Yerushalayim on Pesach. Who does he see? A new girl inside the house. He says, who's this girl? He says, oh, I'm the new wife. Don't worry, my husband said I have to accept you and I have to make you a table. Kiyat Menachem. Rabbi Meir Baal Hanes was a very good looking guy. She makes a table for him. Her husband comes inside. They're drinking. He gets so drunk. And Rabbi Yehuda ben Tabach, new wife, inside her heart, she wanted Rabbi Meir's beauty. So she went inside the bed with him. Kabut Tabi, that she was with Rabbi Meir Baal Hanes. She went inside the bed. The next morning, Rabbi Meir wakes up. He doesn't realize what he did last night. He was so drunk. It was Pesach, Halach Ma'aniyah, Arba Kosot. She's pouring him, you know, they were having matzah joshak over there, and she pours him wine, and she's looking at him, she's smiling, she's flirting, making those flirty eyes, you know. And her mayor says, what is this? Eshet Ish! He starts to yell at her, what are you doing, you... I don't want to say the Z word. She says, what do you mean? What are you calling me? She was strong. She was short, but she was tough. He says, what do you mean? What are you calling me? Last night you were with me the whole night. He says, Chas v'shalom! You're saying on me this kind of stuff? Says, what do you mean? I know where you have your birthmarks. You have a birthmark right between the third and fourth rib. Rabbi Meir gets the shock of his life. Only a person who actually saw him naked could know that he had a birthmark over there. He ripped his clothing. He started to cry. He left the house. He went to his Rosh Yeshiva. The Rosh Yeshiva, his mashpia, he went to his mashpia. And his mashpia said there's only one way that Hashem could forgive you. We have to tie you up and put you in the forest in front of a lion's den. If for 3 nights the lion is going to come to you, smell you, and run away, you're Gucci. I like that word. But if not,
You're gonna be the Gucci bag.
You're going to be the Gucci bag. First night, and they tie him up, or Meir, they tie him up close to his mouth, and they put him in front of the lion's den. When did the lion go out to hunt? In the night. At Tikkun Chatzot. Rabbi Meir is doing Tikkun Chatzot over there. And out comes a lion. Not any regular lion. This lion hasn't eaten in 3 days. He was hungry, and not for sushi. He wanted basar. He goes to Rabbi Meir. takes a sniff, and runs away. Next night, another lion comes, sniffs, runs away. And already the whole town is saying to the Rosh Yeshiva, bring him back already. A lion came to him 2 nights in order to need him. He's innocent. He's innocent. Rav Meir Baal HaNes, the writer of the Mishnah. Third night. No. The Rosh Yeshiva says on a rabbi on his level, he needs 3 nights to be by the lion's den. On the 3rd night, the lion comes. This is not a regular lion. This is a lion, the Bay Ilai. One of his roars could be heard 300 parsaot away. This lion was hungry. He took 1 sniff out of Rav Meir and he cut off a kazayit, 28 grams of his flesh. Huh? Yeah. And he ran away. The next day, the Rosh Yeshiva comes to Rav Meir and he sees the kazayit of his flesh right next to him. And he says, if a kazayit was taken off from you, it's as if the whole body was killed. You're clean. Your chuvah has been accepted. And he let Rav Meir back into the yeshiva.
He wouldn't do the same.
He didn't do it. If he would, he would have been eaten alive.
She played.
But that was for the Chilul Hashem that happened. The kazayit was taken off, but he himself wasn't touched. That's the story how Rav Meir Baal HaNes became a true Baal Teshuvah. And there's a third story of Baal Chuvas. One more Baal Chuvas. There was one guy. You know those guys who sit on top of the railing and eat sandwichki and smoke cigarettes? You know those guys? They call them bums. With the long hair and the black nails and the ripped jeans. Once this guy was sitting in Israel. It was in Israel. He was sitting outside the bathhouse. Why? He wanted to see how all the women were coming in and out. And who does he see coming out? One day, the princess. These guys have no busha, no shame. They could go ask a princess out. He goes to the princess, will you go out with me? Will you marry me? She looks at him, says, only if you stay in the grave. She meant, there's only one place all human beings are the same. Where is that? 6 feet under. Right now we're alive. You think I'm going to look at you? Get the heck out of here. He was stupid. He never passed his regents. And he said, he really thought that he has to go to the grave and she's going to meet him over there. She was very beautiful. He goes to the grave. He's waiting for her 1 day, 2 days. He had such a desire for her. He stayed there for a week. And you know, when you stay in the grave, you start to be disengaged from the rest of the world. This guy started to become very spiritual. He turned from a Rasha to a Tzaddik. Eventually, he forgot about the princess. His goal, he was so fixated with her. He would do anything for her. And the fact that he did anything for her turned him from a Rasha to what? A Tzaddik. And before long, who did he become? A Tana. You know what Tana is? A writer of Mishnayot. They could raise the dead. Why? He set himself a goal. He didn't get her at the end. But he left the path of the Klippa and he went to the Kedusha. I call these stories the 3 Baal Chuvas.
What's his name?
The story doesn't say his name. Why? Because he started off as a Rasha, a bad one, standing by the bathhouse. Come on. I call this the 3 Tzaddikim, the 3 Baal Tshuva. What does that mean, the 3 Baal Tshuva? There's a Baal Tshuva that he doesn't fall, he just wants. When the test comes to him, what happens? He says no. That's like Natan de Tzutzita. There's a second Baal Tshuva. He fell. He gets up again. That's Rav Meir. Then there's a third Baal Tshuva. He's too stupid to have desires. But Hashem gives him what? A lifeline. He gives him a goal, But the guy doesn't know that this goal is going to turn him from a Rasha to a Tzaddik. All three of these Baal chuvas need help from Shammai. And all three of them get help by none other than who? The Zohar, Eliyahu Hanavi. All three tzaddikim. Who was the tzaddik? Who was the malach that saved Rabbi Meir from the lions? Eliyahu Hanavi. Who was the malach that put the fire on top of Natan the Tzutzita's head? Eliyahu Hanavi. And who was the malach that taught this guy Torah while he was in the Bet HaKevarot? Eliyahu Hanavi. Why does Eliyahu Hanavi do that?
He's about to return.
Because you just stole my thunder. Because Eliyahu Hanavi is a Baal Tshuva. What kind of Baal Tshuva? He changed not only his spiritual status, even his physical status. He went from a Levi to a Kohen. And only Eliyahu Hanavi could do that. But if you're a Baal Tshuva, guess who's coming to help you? Eliyahu Hanavi. There's a lot more to say about Eliyahu Hanavi. We cannot continue. Just want to say, Rabbi Isai, a small kavanah of Ben HaMetzarim. I want you guys to use this kavanah. This is a specific treat that you guys are getting. How to turn tzara into what? Ritzeh.
What's that mean in English?
How to turn suffering into being wanted by God.
Yes.
Acceptance. I like that. There's a name of Hashem that's Kiddusha, that's mercy. What is that? Yud Kei Vav. Anytime the name of Hashem is changed in a configuration, it turns into what? But Hashem says in the Torah, Ani Rishon. What's Ani Rishon? I'm the first. Ani Acharon. What's Ani Acharon? I'm the last. Umi bil Adai en Elohim. If it's not for me, there is no Elohim. I am Elohim. That means Hashem is really in all the judgment. In these 3 weeks is a very big time of judgment. A lot of bad stuff happened. How do I change that? A specific name of Hashem, it's called Tathad. Ever heard of it? Today. What is this name? Tathad. The letter Tet comes before the letter Yud. The letter Dalet comes before the letter Hey. The letter Hey comes before the letter Vav. And the last letter Dalet comes before the letter Hey. What do you get all together? Yud K, Vav K. If you take the letter before the Yud K, Vav K, what do you get? Tet Dalet, Hey Dalet. That's called Tathad. Did you get it?
No.
I have the letter Yud. What comes? Letter of Hashem is Yud K, Vav K.
Okay.
Before Yud is what? Tet. Before a Hey is what? A Dalet. Before a Vav is a Hey. The preceding letters is called Tathad. It's the name of Hashem.
Not Milui? No Milui in this
I
one?
didn't say Milui.
Okay.
The letter after Hashem's name, not the preceding but the exceeding letters, is called Kozu. Kozu. The letter after Yud is what? Chaf. The letter after Hey is what? Vav. After Vav is Zayin. After Hey is a Vav. What do you get? Kozu. These two names are in charge during the 3 weeks. Tathad and Kozu. Yud Kei Vav Kei is hidden. Now it's Hashem's judgment names. And the last name is called Matzpatz. How do I get Matzpatz? It's something called Atbash. I change the letter Aleph to Taf, Bet to Shin. That means I take the first letter, change it with the last letter. The second letter with the second to last letter, and so on and so forth. So if I would change the letter Yud, what would it turn into? A Mem. A Hey to a Tzadik. A Vav to a Pei. And the last Hey to a Tzadik. What do I get? Matzpatz. If I want to sweeten the judgments during these 3 weeks, during the 3 prayers of Shacharit, Mincha, and Aravit, when you say Baruch Ata Hashem Magen Avraham, when you say Hashem, think Yud Kei Vav Kei is sweetening Tathad. That's the first name. When you say Baruch Atah Hashem, Mechayeh HaMetim, when you say Hashem, the second blessing, the letter of Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei, is sweetening kozu. It's the second. When you say Baruch Atah Hashem, Hakel HaKadosh, Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei is sweetening the third name, Matzpatz. No. It's called Ani Rishon, Vani Achar. If you do that, you're 50% sweetening the judgment. But there's a bigger kavanah. During the 3 weeks, there is the name of Elokim, Mibal Adai and Elokim. Elokim, how you spell it? Aleph, Lamed, then a Hey, Yud, and Mem. If I spell out the name of Elokim, Bemilui, Aleph is Aleph, Lamed, Fei, Aleph. What's the next letter of Elokim? Lamed. Lamed is Lamed Mem Dalet. What's the next letter? Hey. You spell it with 2 Heys. Hey. Yud is Yud Vav Dalet. Last letter is Mem. Mem is what? Mem. Mem. If you take the numerical values of all that name, what do you get? 295. 295 in Hebrew is the numerical value of tzara. What's tzara? Suffering. When you say after Shema Kolenu, what do we say the paragraph after Shema Kolenu? Ritzeh Hashem Elokeinu B'amcha Yisrael. What is Ritzeh? It's tzara with the other letters. You switch the configuration. When you say the word Ritzeh, have in mind that the letters Yud Kei Vav Kei, we already sweetened what? Tat Had, Kozu, and Matzpatz. The sweetened names are now sweetening what? The name of Hashem that's in charge of all of our suffering. Which is what? Elokim b'milui hehim. Aleph Lamed Ke Yod Mem. And then there is a second name that you have to sweeten when you say Ritzeh. That's the name of Hashem that's in charge of all of the courts. Because before your judgment goes to Hashem, it goes through a court system. And that's with the name of, what's the name? How do you say judgment in Hebrew? Din. What's the name of Din in Kabbalah? Wow, and the light just went on. Ammonai. Ammonai is what? Din. So you have to have now kavanah. The Tathad, Kozu, and Matzpatz is sweetening Ammonai. Did you guys get that?
Yeah.
Did you get that, or you guys already flew to the moon?
We flew to the moon.
You flew to the moon. Okay, Rabotai.
I went to Atzilut.
You went to Atzilut and back. Alright, Rabotai. It's a very small kavanah. I'm teaching you guys how to sweeten the judgments.
Yeah, very small.
Rabotai, I hope this shiur was a Leiluni Shama of my grandmother, Tzipora Bat Adina, and also for Refuah Shlema of Daniel ben Rosh Shoshana Vegam, Leah Bat Margarita,
and Yosef Daniel ben Yafa.
This is Daniel ben Yafa, and also Michal Bested, Avat Sarah. May Hashem bless everybody that we just mentioned with all the brachot that they need. Bracha v'atzlacha, yeshuot gedolot. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.